Hey, what is up guys? My name is Dylan, aka Lunatunes, and today I'm here to offer you up a new game mode that I would like to see in competitive Overwatch. Pretty much I'm going to use this piece of paper just to draw a crude diagram to give you some visuals of what I'm talking about, so hopefully you can understand it a little bit better. But first, why am I suggesting this? Well, I think Overwatch is at a time where it needs something to spice it up a little bit. It's been 10 seasons now in competitive, and they haven't really introduced any new game modes. Of course, they've added arcade modes like deathmatch, 1v1, 3v3, stuff like that, which is all fine and good, but I'm a competitive player. I like to play competitive Overwatch, and I'm getting, I'm not tired of it, but I would love to see something else other than 2CP, push the payload, hybrid, capture point maps. It's been the same thing for coming up on 2 years now, and I really think they could benefit from a new game mode. So, first and foremost, what is the name of this game type? Well, we're going to call it Tug of War. It should be pretty easy to understand. So pretty much there's going to be 2 spawns for the enemy teams, and there's going to be a payload in the middle of the map. Objective is to push the payload to the enemy team's spawn, basically. So these maps do not need to be in straight lines, but just for the simplicity of this video, I'm going to draw the map in a straight line. So obviously this is the payload right here. Let's call this red team and call this blue team. Okay, so obviously the idea for red team is going to be to push the payload that away towards the blue team spawn and blue team towards the red team spawn. So when I first started thinking about this game type, I was like, okay, so how are the teams going to push the payload? Is it just going to be you have to completely team wipe the other team in order to push it? Can one person from the enemy team stall the payload until their teammates get back? I think not. I think that'd be an awful idea. That sounds just like 2CP, but for the entire game. It just sounds terrible. So what I would suggest is that whichever team has more of their players on the payload at a time will push payload in that particular direction. So let's say red team has 3 players on the payload, and I'm sorry, I'm trying to draw upside down. Boom, how's that? That's better. Okay, so red team has 3 players on the payload, and blue team only has 2. Okay, so the payload would start to push towards the blue team, but not very quickly. It would not go very fast because red team only has a 1-person advantage. However, if red team had 5 people on the payload compared to blue team's 2, then the payload would move much faster towards the goal. Now, then I ran into the problem of, okay, so what if your team just starts trickling and trickling and trickling and trickling, and you can never group up and really contest the point? Because if you get to this point where like one team has 5 players on it and the other team has 2, that's really easy to see that just snowball, and the match is over, boom, in an instant, because you just can't stop it. You can't group up. Some of your idiot teammates are just trickling and dying, and then it's just blah, 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 blah. So one thing that I thought of to kind of prevent that would be to add checkpoints throughout the map on either side, okay? So think of it when you're on a payload map. When you're on a payload map, generally there are checkpoints. There's an attacking team and a defending team. As you go, there's usually like 3 different checkpoints throughout the map. It'd be basically the same thing. So if red team pushes the payload to checkpoint number 1 right here, then maybe there's a big gate, there's a big door that opens up and allows the payload to continue towards objective number 2. Then let's say blue team comes in here and they're trying to run a comeback. They got 6 dudes. Oh my god, I'm just gonna turn it around. Okay, so they got 6 dudes on the payload now compared to 4 on the red teams. These gates that red team opened earlier, they did not reclose. Once they're open, they stay open. So the advantage is still going to be in red team's favor. Even if blue team makes it to objective 1 and gets past it, red team still has a chance to come back and they can just push all the way to the final checkpoint at the end. So that would be a big advantage. Just getting one checkpoint would be an advantage because you'd know that that gate will remain open throughout the entirety of the round. So, to sum that all up, I think with these objective points, it would give your team a chance to regroup. If it took 10 seconds for a gate to open, that would give your team a chance to be like, okay guys, we lost that point, everyone group up so we can contest the payload again. Then I think it'd be good. Alright guys, that's it, that's the video. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let me know what you think about this game mode. Was there anything that just like blew up in your face that was like, whoa Dylan, that would not work if you did it like this? Give me some suggestions, because I'm curious. I like this topic. I want them to put this game type in the game. I've heard other people talk about it in the past. I was just kind of spitballing on it and seeing what improvements and probably how they would want to do it. I'd be really curious to see it put in the PTR and actually get to play it. But who knows if that'll ever happen. But like, subscribe, do all that good stuff, and I will catch you on the next one, guys. Peace.